Hello out there, and I've got a really exciting and brand new blade to share with you today, guys. And what is in front of us is a collaboration between WR Case & Sons Case XX and Southern Grind Knives. And this is called the CG01, C standing for case, G standing for grind, and 01 being their first collaboration together. And as you can see just from the look of the knife, the primary company on this is Case, and it's by Southern Grind, manufactured by them, produced by them, and it also shows that on the box. And so while the details of the partnership I haven't been able to really locate anywhere, my guess is that Case wanted to sort of branch out and do something a little bit different, and they wanted to find someone in the USA, where all their knives are made, find someone in the USA who could produce a knife with a different design from them, seeing that they don't usually make knives that are anything like this. And so, they enlisted Southern Grind, and the collaboration in this case has certainly paid off with what I think is an excellent knife and one of the best aluminum frame lock knives that I've ever held in my life. Just one of the best aluminum knives, period. So just an excellent piece, and one that, on a personal note, I wasn't expecting to get. I got this actually as a gift from my wife, and my wife just has this incredible knack for picking out things that I really want but are not at the top of my list, and things that I just wouldn't buy for myself. And so when I opened this up, I was really shocked, and then as I carried it and used it and handled it, I was even more so, just at the quality of it and how much I like this knife. And so we're going to go through all the details, all the specs, all the stuff you need to know 100%. But I am going to quickly just talk about who I think this knife is for. I think this knife is for three people, three types of people at least. And I wanted to address this because, a lot of people seeing the Case XX logo on a knife that isn't really traditional, that is maybe a little bit modern, might be confused and might be turned off and just, wouldn't really give this knife the amount of attention that it deserves. So what I think, at least, the market for this knife is, the people that they're trying to sell this to, from Case's perspective, it's two different types of people. One, it's their loyal customers, people who buy from them regularly, who want American-made quality and trust the brand name, but want something more modern. And if that is the case, then there is a beautiful piece in this knife for them. But also, if you are, interested in like Southern Grind or just modern folders to begin with, maybe this would be the first time that you pay attention to a company like WR Case & Sons. And so that's the other group that this is probably marketed towards from Case's perspective, trying to get more business and new kinds of customers who wouldn't normally be on board with their products. I think from Southern Grind's perspective, though, the third group of people that this is marketed towards is really just for people that want a kick-ass folder, because that's exactly what this is. Just if you are looking for a great knife, then you're in the right place. So, I can't really say enough about how much I like this knife, and let's just get into to all the details. Why, starting with materials and size and the basic specs. So here, as you can see, the knife down on the table, we have a cutting edge of just around 3.4 inches of S35 VN steel. The blade is, it's a Case and a Southern Grind collaboration, but you might have already been thinking this. This sure does look like a Kershaw, doesn't it? I mean, Kershaw, Benchmade, Spyderco, they all have their distinct kind of looks when it comes to a knife. And this is a distinctly Kershaw kind of look. Really reminiscent of the Link, but just this basic blade shape is something that, to some degree, they do pretty regularly. Stuff very similar to this with the Thistle right here. The Launch series has a number of blades that look a lot like this. And then definitely, like I said, the Link, which is also an aluminum knife. So, but just looking at the lines of the knife, though, it's a beauty. It is an absolute beauty. I love the curvature of it from the tip to the spine. And then, we're basically the same height at the tip and the butt, and then we just have that arcing curve all the way up. just a great looking blade as a whole. But anyway, like I said, 3.4 inches of cutting edge S35 VN blade steel. Beautiful stonewash on this blade as well. So just really digging it. This is a drop point and a flat grind right here. There are a couple other variations of this knife available. One of them is a tanto, and then you can also get the tanto or this blade shape with a black aluminum handle. So yeah, a couple different choices for you. I think just with a general absence of red in the marketplace, well, I'm not going to necessarily say that, but there, a red handle is more uncommon than a black one. So I definitely wanted the red, and my wife was genius to to go with this direction. The red on camera looks a little bit lighter, but in person it is pretty darn deep. It is a deep, just very attractive. Let's take a look at that aluminum. Yeah. Man, I'm into it. It is just super nice looking. But all right, let's do some size comparisons as we continue to go over the basics. So here is the first thing that a lot of people are going to think about, Benchmade 940 series. This is the 943. You can see certainly, even though the materials are similar with the aluminum, we do have a much larger package here with the Southern Grind / case knife. Another aluminum knife is the CRKT Caligo. I'm always going to call it Caligo, guys. I don't care what anyone says. Good comparison here in the Paramilitary 2, in that overall length is actually pretty similar. If we line up the butts here, you can see, but just the blade size for the CG01 is significantly larger. What else do we have on the table? Spyderco Native 5, because why not? I do have one blade that no one really knows that I have, that I will put on the table just for comparison, because it seems to be pretty comparable. Yeah, all right, pretty comparable in overall length at least. And this one right here is the Fanatic Edge Origin. So yeah, more to come on this knife sometime in the future. All right, but getting back to the rest of the specs, here is the weight on the knife. It is maybe on paper a little bit heavy at 4.02 ounces, but when you think about it compared to the size, I mean, here the 943 coming in at 2.8, and just the basic size difference, I think 4 ounces for this knife is perfectly understandable. You know, this is a much larger knife in just about every dimension than the 943. All right. And now as we continue to move along with the rest of the aspects of the knife, getting into ergonomics and the jimping, the traction on the aluminum has this same kind of like powder coat that you see on the aluminum for the 943. Maybe a little bit slicker, but I think just generally the extra size of the knife just lends itself to being more ergonomic. And then we have just this amazing amount of jimping. So let's try to get this even closer. Yeah, the jimping on this knife and the way that it feels in hand is just excellent. And there's so much of it that it just allows for multiple configurations of your grip, just even without really changing where your fingers are. You know, choking up with your thumb, going all the way back. I mean, it's just very good in that regard. And then also you can see that, you know, I have plenty of real estate here left over. So if you do have larger hands, this would probably work for you as well. No real hot spots with the way that it just like hugs the palm at the top. Very nicely machined and very smooth and flush. So yeah, no issues there at all. And then as we move on back, you can see that we do have a backspacer, like I showed earlier, by Southern Grind. So not completely open, but still more than easily open enough to clean. The pocket clip is a really interesting aspect of this knife, guys. And it's one that I think is pretty genius. I haven't seen this idea before, where in order to minimize, and this is what I think at least, but in order to minimize just those empty holes that you would have if you had just a reversible clip, they put in this little piece with ridges so that when the knife is sitting in your pocket, this is what you will grab onto to help pull it out. And so, yeah, I think it looks a little bit weird, and it's something that at first I wasn't sure about, but it actually is very functional. It is helpful, and this way you don't just have that gap of screw holes if you choose to, if you don't want to reverse the clip. That way you have the option, and those holes are filled. You can just remove the thing, and I'll show a picture right now. So yeah, you could just deal with those holes if you wanted to, but for me, I actually like having this, and the reason for that is the only negative. The only negative about this entire knife is not so much the clip design, but just how tight it is to get into the pocket. And you can see right here, I mean, I might go about it and adjust it and just make it a little bit looser, but I mean, it is tough to slide in and out of the pocket, very difficult. So, still sort of working on that. Might end up getting a aftermarket clip, not sure, but I also think it's pretty cool that this is a distinctly southern grind clip with the XX from Case on there. So yeah, just a neat look to it as well. But now getting into the functionality of the knife and the action, man, guys, gotta tell you, it's awesome. It is awesome. This is a manual flipper. It is on bearings, and it is super smooth. The D10 is locked in and nearly perfect. It drops shut pretty much, I mean, not quite on its own, but it is very, very super smooth. The lockup is excellent. We do have, as you can see inside here, we have this stainless steel interface with an over travel stop. So just perfect lockup, no movement in any direction. Beautifully done. The action is excellent. Really easy to get in and disengage. Easy to open and close. Yep, and does exactly what I want it to do. So, zero complaints there. Just happy about the way the knife feels in the hand. Happy about the way it is when you're cutting with it. Happy about the look of it. Happy about the shape of it. So, yeah, I really cannot say enough. Cannot say enough about it. See, what did I leave out? See the detent maybe a little bit? Very nice and strong. So, yeah, overall, guys, I think this knife is an absolute home run. It is a little bit pricey. It's going to come in at $199, which is expensive. If you're one of those people who's just going to judge it based on the materials and say, oh, well, is it worth it for aluminum and not titanium at $199? I don't know. That's beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But I think that if you see $170, $175 as a fair price for a knife like this, I'd say as far as quality goes and for size, it's right on par. And if you want a manual aluminum folder and you like something like the 940 or the 943 and maybe want something a little larger, it's going to be a great knife for you. And again, if you are in the target market of the people I was talking about earlier when it comes to Case, or if you're interested in Case, or you are a Case fan and you want something more modern, this is a great piece. It's a great EDC knife, just a beautiful collaboration. And yeah, it has that southern grind quality that I've seen from every one of their knives that I've picked up. So yeah, I have no hesitancy in recommending this 100%, guys. So check it out. Let me know your questions, comments, complaints, suggestions. Very happy to hear from you anytime, but I'll talk with you soon, and take care.